Hi everyone, my name is Joyce Mbaya, founder and author of GIBÉBÉ, Imagine, Believe, Become. GIBÉBÉ is the title of a book, the book that I recently launched in December, as well as the framework that we teach. And essentially what I do is I help people realize and unleash their greatest potential so that they can achieve their goals and dreams. My passion, my purpose, my drive is just to help you discover that greatness you have within you, the potential and the talents you have, and then be able to harness them so that you can achieve your dreams, so that you can achieve your goals, so that you can live your best life. And that's why we're doing this today. Basically, last month we started covering this video series titled Money versus Dreams. And essentially, it was inspired by the fact that as a coach, in all the trainings and the speaking engagements I do and all the different forums that I am involved in, this is the number one question that seems to be coming up. I mean, so many people seem to be battling with this idea about whether they should have to make a tough choice between financial sustenance, looking for that thing that makes a lot of money, even if they don't really have the heart for it or the passion for it, or whether they should truly follow their passions, their dreams, their talents, even if there's a risk there that it might not be as financially viable as something else that they might choose to focus on. So basically, we're now talking about part 2 of the video series, which is titled The Power of Prototypes. For those who haven't had a chance to watch part 1, it would be great for you to do that so that you can catch up on what we've been discussing so far. And basically what part 1 did was, first of all, to introduce this idea of making money versus following dreams, the dilemma, and exactly where it comes from, and also the different ways in which people face this dilemma. And part 1, really, we just said that there are 5 different ways that I've seen this challenge come out with different groups of people. First one being, you have a great job and no passion for it. You have a good job, you go to work every day, everyone is looking at you and thinking, wow, they've made it, they've got it going. But unfortunately, you don't have the heart for your job, you don't have the passion for it, you're bored, you're frustrated, and essentially you just do what you do because, well, you need to pay the bills. Number 2 is, you're not on the path to success. People starting out, I meet people who, even fresh from campus or have been working for 2, 3, 4 years, and you're kind of on this path to success. You have this job, you have this business, but you're not sure whether that's it. You have this nagging feeling that there might be more. That might not be. You might not be on your ideal path to success. Thirdly, I meet people who dream of being entrepreneurs. You have brilliant business idea, you talk about it, but you really have no plan. You're not sure how to execute, how to turn this brilliant business idea into something that is profitable, into something that can actually work for you full time. And number 4, you're not choosing your talents or your strengths. And people who, you really do know what your talents are, you know what your strengths are, people have told you, you've really had a chance to explore and discover what they are. Now, unfortunately, this might not be something that is visible or applicable in what you do right now. Basically, you're not utilizing your talents or your strengths, and by not doing so, you've really unfortunately, that means that you've kind of set yourself up not to succeed, because the best way for us to achieve success, as I always tell people, is to place ourselves in a position where we can absolutely 100% utilize our talents and our strengths, the thing that you do naturally. And lastly, we have a group of people who maybe you've made the right choices so far, you seem to be doing quite well for yourself, but you're also afraid to look back and have regrets. This means that you might be doing okay, or you might have made some really good choices, but you're wondering, is that it? Is there something I'm missing? Have I pushed myself to the ultimate? Have I maximized on what I'm supposed to be doing? And so in addressing this challenging dilemma, we said that there are 4 different strategies that we look at, and they are all strategies that are derived from the first pillar of GIBÉBÉ, which is to imagine your success path, the foundation of being able to define how it is you're going to be successful. That's where these concepts really come from. And so in the first video, we talked about maximizing on the gray area. In the second video, we're going to talk about the power of prototypes. So in talking about the power of prototypes, unfortunately for many of us, when we think about making money versus following dreams, we might assume that this means go ahead, immediately quit your job and embark on this adventurous journey to find out what you're supposed to do. I would, say that much as that, yes, that's one way to go, and I did quit my job as well myself to do what I do now. There was a lot of thought and a lot of strategic insights before making that decision. I would say that before you make such a difficult decision, there really is more to it, and that's what we talk about when we talk about the power of prototypes, that you don't rush to immediately quit your job or whatever just so that you can follow your dream. There has to be a deeper thought process into it. So what is a prototype? Before we talk about the power of prototypes, a prototype is really the test or trial version that is the basis of a final product. It's the original type, form, or instance that serves as a basis or standard for later stages of a product. I worked in product development for a while, and that's where I came across this brilliant concept of prototypes. This thing that you come up with that gives you an idea whether a product is viable. It's a testing platform that helps you know whether this thing that you're building can actually work. So how do you harness the power of prototypes? You harness the power of prototypes by testing and trialing your passion or dream in as many instances as you can before making any critical decision. It's surprising how, for example, if you're going to buy a car, I know many of us who will not buy a car without going for a test drive. So in the same way, if you're thinking about making money versus following your dreams, you cannot embark on your dream, even if you know what it is, even if you believe in it, without at least having a chance to test out the idea or to trial it out in some way. Now, what do we mean when we say this? It could mean that you're taking the time to do more research and seek clear information on what your dream or your passion looks like as a business opportunity, or are there any financial opportunities in following your dream, so that you're not having to make a choice to give up the money, which we all know is not possible, obviously, but rather you're looking for a way in which you can tie the two together. How can I then follow my passion but also ensure that I'm able to make money and realize my financial opportunities even as I follow my passion? Just in giving my own example, this the way I managed to harness the power of prototypes and to test and trial my passion was by starting something called Club 2S. As some of you know, Club 2S was really the beginning that led me towards GIBÉBÉ. It was a not-for-profit society organization that I started to really empower young professionals. I used to channel part of my own income and salary when I was employed towards Club 2S. I never used to bill for the events. I used to try and host free events, invite speakers, and this is something I did from my heart because I knew that I had this greater dream and this greater, deeper purpose to help people realize their potential, but I didn't know where to start. And by going into Club 2S and actually worked on Club 2S for about 2 or 3 years, it was a part-time thing for me when I was employed. I really had the chance to form the networks, to get the experience, and to really see myself grow in this role of being a mentor, a coach, a speaker, and get more and more exposed through my work in Club 2S, which then gave me a very strong basis for being able to leave full-time employment to go into GIBÉBÉ. Even to formulate a business plan for GIBÉBÉ, I had to have some kind of exposure into this thing that was so different from what I studied or did, to really see whether there is a financial opportunity before making such a difficult decision. Also, I did try to get myself involved in different things. For example, the Dondis Kumachi convention. Dondis Kumachi is a very highly acclaimed international speaker who came into Kenya to launch her book. I was involved in the entire event project from concept to organization, and even when she was down here, I remember I was the MC for her book launch, very much involved in the seminar that she did, working closely with Dondi, who was this person who has become a big time success in the very thing that I want to do. Really gave me first hand exposure to see how this thing can be implemented from a practical perspective, how it can be implemented as a business, how she went about making a success in this passion. And it really gave me the first chance to see the expert industry or the coaching industry practically through someone who has been a huge success in it, and that made a big difference. In fact, just working with Dondi and in the short time I did, and her mentorship gave me a clear idea of whether this is possible or not, and gave me even more motivation to be able to start thinking about GIBÉBÉ as a framework and how I can work on it, start thinking about how to write my book. So that was my chance to really harness the power of prototypes. What's your chance to do that? Where are your opportunities to truly harness the power of prototypes and test and trial your passion? Can you volunteer somewhere your services so that you can get exposed to something that's different, but that's where your passion lies? Can you be able to offer your services for free? I know this sounds like not necessarily a fun thing, but that's what I did with Club 2S. When you're still employed, you have that chance, because you're not looking for financial sustenance yet from your passion. You really have the chance to actually get out there and offer your services for free and play around with different things before you start actually asking yourself, where's the money? You can test it out. You can see how to mold it. You can gain some experience. You can form networks with people who are involved in what you want to do. So in doing these things, you actually give yourself a chance to experiment and see whether this can work, and even if ultimately you discover that you do not want to pursue business or financial opportunities from your passion, doing it part-time will still give you more fulfillment, because you found a channel and a way in which you can still harness this passion or this dream that you have. So that's number 2 on our strategy. First of all, we said maximize the gray area. Number 2, harness the power of prototypes, test and trial your passion. We still have 2 more areas to cover in this video, but keep on sending your questions, and visit our website, or my website, joycembayo.com, to view these videos, to give your comments, to find out more about what we do, to find out what events we have coming up, so I can actually have a chance to meet you and interact with you. But ultimately, now we want to think about, once you find your sweet spot and your gray area, how can you test and trial your passion? How can you harness the power of prototypes? And I look forward to keeping on engaging with you more about this, and learning more about it, and hearing your comments. And let's keep learning, let's keep growing together.